book lovers, welcome to Uncommon Reader. I'm Daniela. I hope you had a great holiday season so far. I've taken some time off YouTube, so I'm quite behind responding to notifications and tags, but I hope I can catch up in the next few days. And today I'm here with you to share my favorite reads of 2025, my top 10. So let's begin with number 10 with an Italian book. This author I read for the first time, Roberta Recchia, with All That Is Left of Life, translated in English. It's a family saga that expands between 1950s to the 1980s. And it follows the story of two families, and especially two cousins, that will be protagonists of a very tragic event that will change the course of the story for all its protagonists. The narration had great rhythm and suspense and very detailed characters. I really enjoyed this read. At number 9, here it is, Orbital by Samantha Harvey. This is a meditative novel that follows the lives of 6 astronauts that are part of a few crews that are in orbit around the Earth. These astronauts are gazing at a borderless, unified planet that looks so breathtakingly beautiful from afar. In its romantic and poetic style, the book reflects on the privilege of witnessing such fragile wonder that our planet is. And they're also quietly within themselves wrestling with the feelings of longing, of love, of missing their loved ones while they are on their mission, and all the risks that they are taking being part of this adventure. I dedicated a video on this book, which you'll find in the info box or just below the info box, because I love so many passages about this book that I really wanted to share it with you. At number 8, it's the autobiographical book by Alexei Navalny, Patriot. So I noticed this book on Renee of Beyond Books channel as she and her partner Donna were discussing this book that Donna had read, and I'm so glad I did, because I got really intrigued as I knew the story, just a few details about what happened to Alexei Navalny. So he was a strong opponent of Putin's government and fighting very courageously corruption in Russia. He wrote this book after being poisoned. He was actually hospitalized as he was flying to Germany, and he stayed in Germany where they saved his life for about 3 months. And then he decided to go back to Russia, where he was arrested right after landing. And through his prison years, he started writing this very moving book. In this book, Navalny traces his childhood, school years, and also his political awakening, showing a very deep bond and love for his country and the hopes for a better, honest future. It's also a very vivid portrait of Russian life as he kept describing his life. His writing was also surprisingly witty, ironic, moving and engaging, and quite educational and enriching for me. Number 7, here we are. This is Zora Neale Hurston with Their Eyes Were Watching God. So I got interested in this story after watching a video on Pat's channel, Book Chat with Pat. And I got this copy at a used bookstore in Berkeley, California. So I thoroughly enjoyed the story. This was such a surprise. Zora Neale Hurston was among the group of writers defined as Harlem Renaissance, which were very popular between the first few decades of the 20th century. And the protagonist of this story is a young woman called Jeannie, who is forced into marrying an older man. But Jeannie has a mind of her own, and she's very strong-willed. So she finds a way to move out of that life and explore new adventures. I was really entranced following this coming of age and emancipation story of this woman, especially considering the period where this story is set at the beginning, of course, of the 20th century. It's a real example for women everywhere living life with passion, courage, and determination. At number 7, Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. This was my first encounter with Baldwin, and he got me at hello. It was my buddy read, I believe, for April with Renee of Beyond Books. So you will find also a video dedicated in the info box below. I loved the story. Despite the fact that the protagonist of this novel is a very flawed and selfish character named David. David wants to give in to love and desire he feels for man, but he's scared. He's trying to protect himself from shame, or just not ready to accept the reality of his instinct. And as he makes decisions for his own good, he doesn't even realize the hurt he leaves behind that he causes to other people. Baldwin prose is so intense and powerful and honest, and despite the fact that you don't like David while reading this book, you really can't put it down. Beautiful prose. I can't wait to read more of James Baldwin, starting in January. At number 5, another buddy read with Renee of Beyond Books, James by Percival Everett. This James is no other than the Jim, the slave character in Mark Twain's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And while in Twain's book the narrator was Huckleberry, in Percival Everett's James, the voice that we hear is no other than Jim himself. And boy, do we love it from the start. As this James that Everett gifts us with, he's so deep, thoughtful, he's educated, he can write, he can read, and he wants to really set himself free from slavery and his family as well. So compared to the lengthy prose of Twain's book and often irritating characters that dwell way too long in long chapters, of course they're good chapters. I'm not going to say bad things about Twain's book, but they're quite lengthy, and so I feel that Percival Everett's version is a bit cleaner, smoother, shorter chapters, so the story really moves at a faster pace and sort of gets to the point more quickly, with more clarity and ease. And not to mention the plot to the story that we experience towards the end of the book, that just totally a jaw-dropping twist. At number 4, Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, or Adiki. Still no one told me how to pronounce this last name. This is a powerful, insightful novel about identity, migration, and love, following the adventures of a Nigerian woman, Ifemelu, that moves from Nigeria to United States. I feel this may be sort of autobiographical, although the author never reveals that in her book. But all we need to know that her writing is really sharp, witty, and deeply observant, exploring themes of race, belonging, and the complexity of, at one point, returning home, and the clash of cultures, of course, capturing the emotional journey of a woman that wants to find a place in the world. It's the podium time. Number 3, The Most Secret Memory of Men by Mohammed Bugar Sar. Wow, this book is complex, but such a rarity. Winner of the Goncourt Prize, I forget the year, maybe 2019. I'll write it down here just for your information. This is a masterful coming-of-age story and a very intriguing literary investigation as well. We follow Diegan, who is a Senegalese young man who wants to become a writer, so he moves to Paris to follow his dream. While there, he discovers this manuscript written in 1938 by a fellow countryman called T.C. Eliman. The Maze of Humanity is just a title that you're like, okay, I got to read this book. And this book is so powerful that after initial success was actually banned, and the author, Eliman, was accused of plagiarism. And after this, Eliman decides to vanish into thin air, and nobody knows where the author is nowadays. Diegan, of course, wants to solve this mystery and find this author, probably, feeling linked to him by being from the same country. And he sets on a quest to find traces of his last days in Paris. So we follow him, and we are totally invested in this quest as well, as we want to know what happened to this man, as we learn a little more about this book and what it represented and why this was a fraud. Beautifully written, part mystery and part tribute to literature. This book is a celebration of the power of stories. At number 2, a December read, Inshallah, by my beloved Oriana Fallaci. This is a vivid, intense story that is set during the civil war in Lebanon during the 80s. It blends political insights with personal drama. Fallaci's writing is bold and passionate as usual, and explores the clash of cultures, the harsh reality of war, and the complexity of the people caught in the conflict, all while reflecting on fate, loyalty, and human struggle for meaning. Despite the intensity and complexity of the story, dealing with war and survival, I found Fallaci's style captivating and sometimes surprisingly funny and ironic considering the circumstances of war. She brings the Italian battalion to life through their different dialects and cultures, adding moments of humor that lighten the mood and make the characters feel very vivid and real. Time for the best read of the year. And if you've been following my channel for a while, you may probably know what it is, as I had dedicated a video to this book, quite knowing already that that was going to be my favorite read of the year. And it is Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts. This is a sprawling and thrilling novel based on Gregory David Roberts' life itself. Actually, sort of autobiographical. A few things, he's fictionalized, but man, quite an adventure. Roberts escapes a security prison in Australia and builds a new life in the underworld of Bombay in India. Roberts' writing is immersive and vivid, blending adventure, philosophy, and romance, while exploring themes of friendship, of love, of exile, of redemption, all in this beautifully, richly detailed story. This is truly a must-read. I know this novel will stand the test of time, despite quite the lengthy story. I feel every part of the book, it's completely clear to me. I remember all the passages, everything, and it doesn't quite often happen as sometimes you read a book and after a month you forget many details about the story, but this one really is so clear to me. And I look for, starting this January, to read the sequel of this book. Forget the name in English because I bought it in Italian and I've read this in English, by the way. And so I will tell you more as I read along. Thank you so much for staying with me, and I look forward to hear from you. What are your favorite reads of 2025? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. Thanks for watching and supporting my channel. If you haven't, please subscribe so you won't miss any new videos. I'll see you in 2026. Happy New Year to everyone and happy reading. Ciao.